So I woke up early on a Saturday morning and went to the garage, ere the sun rises, to go get some of my stuff ready for a tournament. My first tournament. So just in case this is a vlog, here we are at 6:22 in the morning, filming yourself in your garage. Hey! Just making sure I've got everything. I'm debating where to wear this shirt. It matches the theme, but it's like the only shirt which has a design on it, which I have. So I don't really like standing out like that. But Lord of the Rings, and I love Lord of the Rings. So it's not like I'm... God, I really do have imposter syndrome, don't I? That sucks. You've got our army, 600 points. Display board. Dice. Tape measure. Some markers and some nice dice. Themey dice. My cards. Little metal ruler to do the 1 inch back for very good. It's not like in the way. Dice tray. Pretty sure that's all I need from the garage. So this is up in the gaming loft of Kirton Games in Crediton. I managed to get some video of the tables without drawing too much attention to myself, but sacrificing some camera work. And that largely was the end of the vlogging. I mean, vlogging! From now it's less of a vlog and more of a rundown. I didn't even take pictures during my first game. I did take one though before it, showing you the board I've been playing on. It's also a table. I just set up my stuff out the bag ready and just took a seat there as people arrived. Things were getting ready before the tournament started. It turned out it'd be a table I would play on all my games, which is ideal because it's got the water terrain so I could do my spectral walk, eventually developing a catchphrase, because I can. But I was nervous enough just playing the game, yet alone filming it. My spare filming phone and the tripod stayed in my bag. Game 1, A Clash by Moonlight. I said I didn't take much photos, but here is some drawing photos from Kirton Games Facebook. This is when Craig is explaining to me what the Flame Burst spell does, before he does it on my King of the Dead, but we'll get to that. Hopefully from the crop of a photo before the game, you can make out a bunch of crossbows led by Frascu, which for this scenario is ideal, especially as I have no shooting to retaliate with. Luckily for me, Craig's dice wasn't playing along though, even with the +1 to wound. Having a range of 12 inch to shoot meant they were also 12 inches within the King of the Dead's Harbinger of Evil as well. He did have some berserkers for me to worry about with their courage 7, and Saruman also has courage 7, and being one of the best spellcasters in the game, and one I haven't read the most into, and never played against, I took a risk and decided to largely avoid him, and forgo the victory points of a leader kill, and go for the other heroes and try and keep my leader alive. The Herald's Pendant giving resistance to magic within 3 inches and having 9 will across my 2 heroes, I had what I considered an at least reasonable chance of stopping spells, even against Saruman's 3 use 1 and his bunch of will he already has. Positioning during the game as our forces drew nearer was on the flanks and moved away from the main force, with some Uruk-hai warriors around him to block any incoming models. I decided not to split my force completely, but spread them out to block any enveloping, but not enough to lose too much of the spear support. And luckily, being between the tower and the woods and having water on both sides for him to move around limited that risk. Using my cavalry to threaten the outliers on his flanks, who were spread out a bit, and also have that threat of charging into the back of the combats. As I write this script, and recall the game, and read back those past paragraphs, it may come off as me knowing what I was doing and having a plan. That was not the case at all. It was panicked decisions with not much thought for later, and any tactical advantage gained from these was unintentional but appreciated. Back to game 1. Saruman did the main damage, with Sorceress blasting the riders I sent his way, and if the crossbows weren't going to do much, his spells would. A compel to my herald meant spending some will to resist, which the king could have used for his heroic actions within 3 inches. But it wasn't anymore because he failed the saves and moved half movement away from him instead. So that it wasn't just failed courage tests and standing still, I charged my guys in. I was using my warriors to tie up models so my King of the Dead could focus on Frascu, with some warrior support to match the Uruk-hai pike support he had, and get a wound and drain soul him for a hero kill. For the 3rd bullet point, if you have at least 1 hero alive and have killed more hero models, you instead score 3, to counteract my no leader kill decision. That plan all came down to the final turn. After thankfully resisting an immobilize from Saruman, I won the combat thanks to the King of the Dead, who stopped rolling shit, his defense keeping him alive so far. They then both got a wound, and with 1 fate roll, he fated it. And obviously, took the normal wound from the warrior and fated the drained soul insta-kill. Which I needed, because Saruman, as mentioned before, flame bursted my King of the Dead a few times before and got a wound on him. There was another hero he had, an independent hero. Let's not forget Grima Wormtongue, who starts in one of my warbands, who I couldn't wound, but I could still charge him and knock him prone with one of my riders, who did that every turn. And I'd like to thank Craig for pointing out how I was pushing him 1 inch closer up towards the king and Grima's 6-inch range of effect for his ability, and if I had just come around the other side, he would be pushed 1 inch away instead. I didn't think of that. Thanks again, Craig. And then to finish him off, in the final turn, I charged the same rider, whose horse clearly hated Grima and knew he was a traitor, and with another rider who was free from any combats and was within movement range also charged in, joining his buddy. They double charged his mangled but unwounded body. Over the course of the game, with most of my warriors hitting against their courage at -1 and my riders getting the charge bonuses and some prone traps, I was doing a lot of killing, to the point where at the final turn's combat phase I had 4 fights left, 2 with charge bonuses. All I needed to get was 3 more kills and break his army for 5 victory points. 2 more Uruk-hai off the board with a cavalry charge bonus remaining, and finally the dice curse passed from Craig's shooting to my combat rolling, and I didn't get that last kill. The final scores 2 to my 1, and technically still a major loss for my first game at a tournament. It was a great first tournament game, really fun. Craig was really helpful as well, and it's a shame about his crossbows. We had a great laugh, and even with my nerves, which was pretty visible with my tape measure shaking my hand as I measured, it definitely helped me in the right direction with nerves subsiding, which did reach a pitch at one point in the game. I believe after making a mistake with a heroic move, after he did his heroic move, and I was moving models beyond the 6-inch often with me, which I completely forgot about. Apologising multiple times as I moved models back within that range as if I had not messed up, and it was quickly sorted and resolved. I was annoyed, but it happened because it was a continuation of a bad streak I've had with heroics. I've had a few games in my garage, and 2 times I've done them, I've messed each one of them up. This one though was at least the least messed up, which is why I'm kind of glad the King of the Dead only has 1 might, to limit the frequency of heroic action mess ups. As I said, it was resolved and Craig was called about it, and it got sorted. But that was the time when my thought process cranked the negative up and the intrusive thoughts kicked in and repeated, finish the game, then tell the TO you have to go, and go home and cancel the tournament in September and never play again. Amongst this negativity, I did make an easy retort back at that, with I can only overcome these nerves by staying and playing, and also frequently applying deodorant. Because it definitely was revealed to me I get anxiety sweats, and hopefully the Lynx Africa roll-on deodorant was enough. Apologies if I was that guy, I did try not to be. It was applied multiple times. The sweating hopefully subsides as I get more comfortable at tournaments, but enough about my sweaty armpits. Amongst all the anxiety, thank fuck I have a sense of humour and use it in both good, normal and bad situations, and that Craig had one to match, because we made jokes, movie references and had a good laugh. So to oppose my intrusive thoughts of quitting and not playing again, when I think back and go over the event, I have a simple fact that I made each of my opponents laugh, which made this first tournament a success for me. Even though I did get the spoon, but more on that later. So thank you for watching this kind of vlog, kind of not vlog, tournament thing. Part 1, so stick around for part 2, make sure you're subscribed and stuff. But before I tell you about subscribing, I'll do this in order. Make sure to like the video if you haven't already, helps a lot. And leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. How did you do in your recent tournaments? And, as I said, subscribe. And if you like what I'm doing here, if you like the channel, share it with any fellow hobbits or those who dwell in Middle Earth. See you on the next one.